Hi everyone. In the video instructions for the course discussion forums, I mentioned that I want discussions to demonstrate active engagement both with other students and with the readings. So this video explains a bit more what that might look like. Some of the suggestions come from Salmon 2013, which is a short PDF explaining tips for moderating group communication. It's not necessarily intended for online learning, but for managing group communication in a business setting, but we're going to borrow some of the ideas because they're good ones. So here are 5 principles to crafting good discussion posts in this class. Number 1, write informally. Don't be afraid of slang or incorrect grammar or emoticons or that kind of thing. The goal of discussions is not necessarily to impress each other or me, but to engage candidly with each other and the course readings. So don't be afraid to be casual and conversational. 2, kindness and compassion are key. Try to be aware of your tone and avoid being condescending, rude, or dismissive of others. And this is where emoticons can help. Sometimes that's a way that if you use social media at all, you know that emoticons can help convey tone, since written language can't convey that as well as spoken language. But you also have to be careful about how the emoticons can be perceived as well, because sometimes they can be, perceived as snarky or ironic when you didn't intend them to be. So just be careful in how you phrase things, and keep kindness and compassion at the forethought, or at the forefront of your thoughts, kind of at all times when you're posting. Along those same lines, principle number 3 is to thank, acknowledge, and support people freely. This both demonstrates engagement and creates a supportive learning community. We're all here to learn and we all want to help each other learn. That's part of the goal of the discussion board. So that's principle number 3. Number 4 is acknowledge another's perspective before differing by paraphrasing what they said. So this will do a couple of things. First, as with principle 3, it will demonstrate engagement. It will say, hey, here's what I've read your post and here's what I think you said. Along that same line, it will help you avoid potential misunderstandings and nuances in opinions, because what might happen is you might find that your understanding of what someone said was not actually what they meant. And so they can kind of clarify what they meant and figure out another way to say it, and you guys can continue engaging in conversation. And finally, it will help you offer another perspective without seeming unnecessarily combative, rude, or dismissive. So if you kind of work to really understand what the other person says before offering up a counter opinion, especially if it's one that's very sort of opposite of what the other person says, if you demonstrate that you're actually trying to listen and trying to understand them first before countering, that will really help and will sort of show that you are sort of acting in good faith. And then number 5, of course, incorporate readings into your posts where appropriate. You don't actually have to quote or necessarily include page numbers or anything like that. This isn't a formal paper. You don't need citations. But if that helps you, you can. More importantly, instead of quoting, I would actually prefer you to paraphrase key concepts that you're discussing, and this will do a couple of things. First, actively paraphrasing something is a good learning strategy. In order to paraphrase, you have to understand, at least a little bit, what it is you're paraphrasing. Second, hearing your paraphrase of the concept will actually allow me to check your understanding and provide feedback to you, whether that's, yeah, good job, you're right on, or, well, you've got this thing right, but I think maybe what so-and-so is trying to say is something like this, and, sort of to help give you feedback on where your understanding is. And then third, it will help other students understanding the concept as well, because the more you read something, the more you hear something paraphrased in either your own words or other people's words, the more it contributes to that understanding. So there you have it, 5 principles to guide your online discussion posts. These principles should help foster deep discussion and active engagement with both the readings and your colleagues. I am looking forward to a semester full of great discussion. I'll see you in the forums.